Write down important tips for essay writing. Important tips for essay writing. Always rephrase the question. Always rephrase the question and state your opinion very clearly in the introduction. Second point with double star mark. Understand the meaning of the question in depth. Do not focus on words. But the meaning. Next point. Logically organize ideas in the essay so that each sentence follows the previous and all ideas are connected. Next. When you think about ideas, don't follow your heart. But strategically design your ideas where you can show your writing skills. For this, always write your ideas first and then start writing. Now, what I'm trying to tell you over here is that whenever you read a question, you start writing immediately. And after 15 minutes, you realize, oh my God, I don't have an answer for this. I don't have a second point for this. So before writing, think about the ideas, think from your mind, not your heart. Now, say, for example, there is a simple question. Some people say family is important. Some people say that friends are important. Discuss both the views and give your opinion. I would certainly go for friends. I will not go for family because मेरे पास ज़्यादा point नहीं होगा. Friends, financially, emotionally. Family is always emotional. So, you can give ideas, you can give examples. So, दिल से नहीं जाना है, यहाँ से जाना है. Because आपका दिल क्या कहता है, एग्जामिनर को कोई लेना देना नहीं. आप कंटेंट क्या लिखते हो, that is what that matters. ठीक है? I will prove that in the further classes also, how we can make this more practical. Next.
That should be mattered in life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Next, do not run after run after, or do not chase after. That's a beautiful word again, chase after fancy words. Clarity is extremely important. Clarity is extremely important in order to express your ideas. Use technical vocabulary. Use technical vocabulary. For example, a bracket में लिखो noise issue. For example, there is this topic on noise something. Okay? So how we'll write it down? So you can write down. For instance, this is a very good way of giving an example also. For instance, loud noise cause headaches and anxiety, cause headaches and anxiety, which can ultimately, underline the word ultimately, lead to clinical depression. That's a beautiful word. We always use the word depression. Clinical depression, comma, especially with the elderly. With the elderly. Now look at the words that we have used: clinical depression, anxiety, severe headache, or just headaches you can write down. समझ रहे हो कैसे हमने वो कैब यूज किया है यहाँ पे? और यहाँ पे हमने ये एग्जाम्पल के तरीके से, मैंने एग्जाम्पल भी बता दिया और आपको ये भी मेंशन कर दिया कि आप कैसे लिख सकते हो. कोई भी टॉपिक है वहां पे आप एक कैटेगरी को लेके कह सकते हो. स्पेशली दिस प्रॉब्लम इज फेस्ड बाय एल्डरली or the professionals or the youngsters, so that becomes more effective. Another example you can write down: these days, now this is the question I'm giving it to you, okay, to make it more clear. These days people like to watch live performances such as shows or concerts at home, either on television or computers, instead of attending in person. Do the advantages of this outweigh the disadvantages? Now, this is the question which you might get on the final day. So it's saying, like, according to you, it's asking your opinion. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? And it's saying that some people like to watch it on your television. Some prefer to, go and watch it, the live performances. So over here, we can mention, like, if we say that people love to watch on the smart televisions, you have to mention some features of smart television. You can talk about the sound quality. You can talk about the HD quality, the picture quality, right? Because these days, this smart televisions are very, very natural. They give you that effect of an auditorium, a stadium, basically. Then you can use the words like, when people are watching live concerts, the level of dopamine shoots up. That gives the happy hormones becomes active, and they feel that excitement is always there in the mind. Visitors, spectators, audience. See, these are the technical vocabulary. Instead of 5, 7, 5, 7, 8 vocabulary related to your topic, we are good to go. Bas, discuss. That is all I require. So ये थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट लगेगा भी आपको, लेकिन आने वाले टाइम में जब आप बहुत सारे एसेस कर लोगे, एक टाइम ऐसा आएगा कि मुझे आपके साथ आई डोंट हैव टू डिस्कस योर दिस फॉर्मेट्स. I just have to discuss the ideas and then just the vocabulary, and that is it. We are good to go. ठीक है? So topic centric. I have also mentioned, like in speaking also, if you're talking about food, like say for example, you know, if there's a question like this, I'm just giving an example. What kind of food do you like to have? Well, personally, I like to have Asian food, specifically the Indian food as well as the Chinese food, because it has all the flavors, be it tangy, be it spicy. See, मैं food के related सारी चीजों को reflect कर रही. हर्ष, आप कुछ पूछना चाह रहे थे बच्चे?
मैम, जो आपने ये हाउ टू राइट टॉपिक सेंटेंसेस, सो these will be the topics, like these will be the introductions, right? These all will be the
Not the introduction. This is when you are writing your second paragraph.
okay.
Introduction तो मैंने आपको already formats में दे
Oh,
दी.
ठीक है. So we have to see whether which way we should use, right?
Yeah,
Whether we
when
use the subject and sequence, or
yeah,
we should use the sequence and subject
yeah,
following by yes. Okay.
yes. It is like how to express it. ठीक है? Any questions anyone have? All clear till here?
Yes.
Now write down one essay question. I'll help you now a bit. In some places, comma, young people find it difficult to communicate with older people. What are the reasons for this? Question mark. How can this situation be improved? I'll give you 5 minutes to think about it. We will discuss it and then I'll help you how to write. Okay, let's discuss. Now, Harsh, can you give me one reason from your end?
Ma'am, I wrote 4.
Okay.
So one is because young people doesn't have that much time and they have their own challenges to fight with. So they think that the older people will not, because the older people have old school thinking. So maybe they are not relatively in that position to talk.
You are talking about time and then you're talking about their
Challenging. Talking about the time and because they have lots of challenges nowadays, the young people, because they have to take care of everything. So I'm talking about the time and challenges they are having right now, and the um old school thinking level, like the age gap.
that is a different point.
Okay, so
That's a different point. Yeah.
okay.
So the first point, you have to talk about the challenges. You need to explain that further.
Okay.
What you're doing is like जितना आप सेव कर सकते हो आपने बताया, उसके बाद आपने एक और पॉइंट डाल के अपने आप को सेव किया.
Okay.
बिल्कुल सही है, लेकिन हमारे ब्रेन को पता होना चाहिए कि हम इसको और एक्सपैंड कैसे करेंगे, बिकॉज वी नीड 8 to 9 lines to explain it,
Okay.
which you have practically started pretty well, and I like the word relatively. That's a very nice word which you have used. So it's a thumbs up. Good. But the only thing is that we need to expand one idea.
Okay.
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 Amrinder, what idea will you give and how will you explain that?
For what I have understood from this question, I wrote it down. The new generation is busy in mobile phones and social media.
Hmm.
And the other point I wrote down was the busy lifestyle.
Hmm.
And the third one was the generation gap.
Okay. So over here, we can write like, there is a tremendous shift of, lifestyle among the youngsters and the elderly. In other words, the youngsters indulge themselves into activities which are basically related to the internet, like social media and then WhatsApp and all that. फिर आप उसको आगे explain करो.
Mm-hmm.
समझ रहे
Okay.
हो?
Yeah.
रितिका आप बताओ.
Yeah, the first point that I write is change in the lifestyle and the educational way. And in this, I have explained just because the younger generation they started using the modern language like the slangs and the idioms in the English, which is like not understandable for the older people. So or like just because they feel like if they are talking with the older generation and they are unable to understand it, they feel it like sometime bored because they unable to connect with them at that time when they are using such kind of modern language in their.
Right. So over here we can use the word like retired life. Like senior citizens, like they are retired and they have more leisure time. However, the youngsters are quite busy in their life. Something like that. So we have technical
Mm-hmm.
vocabulary coming up. Your points are absolutely right, but we need to know how to write it down. So I'm going to give you some notes where you can get an idea, fair idea, कि what ma'am is trying to say. ठीक है? So अभी हम लिखते हैं. First, I will help you to rephrase the question. Only the rephrasing of the question. In recent years, comma, in recent years, it has been, it has become, sorry, in the recent years, comma, it has become increasingly common for younger generations, for younger generations to avoid communication, to avoid communication with older individuals, with older individuals in many countries or nations. You can write in the word nations or countries, full stop. This is the introduction, okay? Then you can write down the two main reasons or whatever. Okay, ji? Now we'll
Mm-hmm.
write on the first reason. Write on. One of the primary reasons, one of the primary reasons, underline this please, for the lack of communication, for the lack of communication between the young people and the elderly and the elderly is the increasing emphasis is the increasing emphasis on independence, on independence and individualism and individualism. So this is the two ideas which will explain it further. Many young people have been brought up to, many young people have been brought up to value their, THEIR, underline, this is personal nouns, up to value their own personal goals and achievements over traditional values, over traditional values such as, underline the word such as, this is an example, such as family and community, and community. Full stop. This can lead, this can lead them to view older generations, view older generations as irrelevant. This is what Harsh you were trying to say. As irrelevant or out of touch. It's a hyphenated word. Out hyphen of hyphen touch. It is a one word with hyphen, comma, and therefore, underline the word therefore, not worth, not worth engaging with on a regular basis. Read this paragraph, please, in your mind. It is simple. There is simplicity, there is clarity, there is no fancy word, there is no, I would say, choking of your, ideas. It's crystal clear, saaf suthra. That is it. आप भी यही कहना चाह रहे थे ना?
Ma'am, it like the simplicity in this passage and the words I want to convey was the same,
Yeah.
but I didn't know that we can use independence like however I have used it. Like this is what I wanted to say, but I have not thought that we can use independence and individualism, and also I can frame my sentences like value their own personal goals and achievements over traditional values. This is exactly what I want to say. I wanted to say actually.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm training your brain. So, value. Like, we have this line just you just mentioned about like value their own personal goals. You can take this as your, one of the ideas and keep it somewhere safe. So whenever you are like, writing an essay related to youngsters, or why they are misbehaving or why they don't behave, because they are valuing their own goal in context of not taking care of others. तो आपको इसी मैं आपको इतना कुछ करवा दूंगी कि आपको इसी में से ही सारा डेटा मिलेगा और आपको वो डेटा के साथ प्ले अराउंड करना है, लॉजिकली प्ले अराउंड करना है। तभी मैंने कहा दोबारा पढ़ो। अब आपने ये पैराग्राफ पढ़ा, इसमें से आइडियाज लेके कहीं रख दो कि इसको मैं यूज, बिकॉज यू डोंट हैव टाइम टू रीड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, आई नो इट। even if I tell you, you will not do it, so let me do that work for you. I'll give you the data bank, you extract from there logically, बस इतना काम करना है आपने और कुछ नहीं करना। हम इसमें ये भी कह सकते हैं कि द वे पेरेंट्स दीज डेज नर्चर देयर चिल्ड्रन is comparatively very different to the past. As children today have their own personal goals, they have been motivated to look forward for their own personal goals. आप ऐसे भी लिख सकते हो, और यही चीज आप स्पीकिंग में यूज करोगे। मेरे लिए स्पीकिंग और essay writing is one and the same thing. I'll give you some more words today to make it more better. बिफोर आई फॉरगेट, मुझे आपने सिर्फ याद दिलाना है बिफोर द क्लास गेट्स ओवर कि मैम आपने एक वर्ड करवाना है अनडिनाइबल, बस मैं आपको 3-4 और वर्ड्स करवाने वाली हूँ, ठीक है? ओके, नाउ नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ, व्हाट अमरिंदर वाज सेइंग, हम इसको कैसे लिखेंगे? Another contributing factor, another contributing factor which aligns with this trend, which aligns with this trend, is the rise of technology and social media. Full stop. Significant number of, guys, ये बहुत बारी आपने हर ऐसे में यूज करना है. Significant number of people, majority of youngsters, majority of people, ये डालना है to give a general statement. Circle कर लो please. कहीं पे भी यूज कर लो, चॉइस आपकी है. Significant number of young people are increasingly using these platforms, underline the word these platforms, to connect with their THEIR, with their peers, and create virtual communities, comma, often, underline the word often, that's a beautiful word, often, at the expense of face to face, at the expense of face to face is also a hyphenated word, interactions with family members and older adults. Guys, before I forget, when you write down nowadays, it is a one word, okay? So nowadays को इकट्ठे लिखना होता है हमेशा, ये याद रखना आप. Full stop. This can make
Family,
it
sorry, my family members and
family members and older adults. Full stop. This can make it harder. This can make it harder for them to build meaningful relationships with their THEIR, with their grandparents and other elderly relatives who may not be as comfortable with digital communication. Next paragraph. Now you just have to give 2 reasons, but I'm giving you another reason just to give you the feel कि लिखना कैसे है, ठीक है जी? Next paragraph. Moreover, comma, there is a growing disconnect between the experiences and perspectives and perspectives of young people and those of their elders. Full stop. Many young people today face different set of challenges and opportunities than previous generations, such as navigating a rapidly changing job market, dealing with the impact of climate change, and coping with mental health issues. Full stop. This can make it difficult for them to relate to the experiences and wisdom of older adults, who may not fully understand the complexities of modern life. Kindly please go through both the paragraphs, read it. Anji, have you gone through it, guys? So in today's class, I taught you about how to write subject lines. We discussed about, what are the parameters you have to keep in mind before writing an essay. I've given you an example, how you have to write, how you have to frame, technical vocabulary. So this is what we did all about essay. And the reason why I've done this, now I'm going to be a devil now. The reason why I've done this is because you have a mock test tomorrow. That's a Saturday, right? So this mock test, I'm going to give you that liberty, that freedom, that relaxation. कि ठीक है, आप 3 घंटे में एट अ स्ट्रेच आप अपना मॉक टेस्ट करोगे. अमरिंदर, साहिल को भी आप बता देना, रितिका आप प्लीज सिमरन को बता देना, ठीक है? टाइम पीरियड की बेसिस पे आपने करना है, आप अपने लेवल पे करें, आप दिन के 3 घंटे आप कोई भी निकाल लें, चॉइस आपकी है. आने वाले डेज में आप मॉक टेस्ट मेरे सामने करोगे, जैसे अभी हम बैठे हैं, टाइमर सेट हो जाएगा, मेरे सामने करोगे, वीडियोस ऑन होगी, वो आने वाले दिनों में. एंड आई कैन इवन डू दैट एज अ सरप्राइज टेस्ट कि आपको सैटरडे का जो है टेस्ट वो मैं थर्सडे को करा दूं और सैटरडे को मैं आपको पढ़ा दूं. आई कैन डू दैट, ठीक है?